Why I think you should solo travel. So much growth and development happens. This square footage is just like my creative play zone. Welcome back to the channel. I've just been sitting here sort of reflecting on my solo traveling experience here in Edinburgh, Scotland, and I thought I'd share some insights with you on how my first solo trip has been going. So I think the main, let's say 5 points. I'm gonna try to get to 5. The main 5 points of why I think you should take a solo trip, especially if you're a woman. Number 1, the first reason is that you can just get away from your daily routine for a little while so that you're able to see things from a new perspective. And for me personally, being alone for 2 weeks has been very interesting. I like to be alone, just for context. I'm a bit of a homebody. I enjoy spending time, in my own company. I'm 31 for context. Actually, my birthday was on this trip a couple days ago, so I also spent my birthday alone, which sounds sad, but it was actually quite nice because I just got to do whatever I wanted. And that's honestly the second point, is you get to do whatever the heck you want to do. And that's so fun. And I think that feeling of, doing whatever you want to do, being the boss of your own day, waking up and saying what do I want to do today? That feels so good. And also going back to the first point, it really helps you think about your life back home as what do I like about it? It makes you appreciate things in a new way. It also makes you think what are some things I might want to change when I get back home? I don't know about you, but I had to put that blind down. It was getting super sunny in here. But have you ever been on a vacation and you write down a list of things you want to do when you get home, ways to get organized, or new meals you want to make, or different habits you want to incorporate? For some reason, I always do that when I go on vacations, but it's even more apparent when you're just flying solo and you think about things back home that you want to change. I would say the third point, and this is a really interesting one that I didn't expect. The third reason you should solo travel, especially if you're a woman, is and this is my recommendation, and I'm not saying you have to do this, but the third one would be you could see what life is like when you don't wear makeup, jewelry, and have a very limited wardrobe just by virtue of having a suitcase. So the third point would probably be try out what a simplified pared down life feels like for you. Almost like a super extreme live out of suitcase type life. And and I'm not saying I want to live this way forever, but it's nice just to take a moment, a breath sometimes, and just reset and not worry about your appearance for 2 weeks. I mean, have good hygiene and things like that. It just feels good to kind of take a step back from your routine and take some time for yourself. The fourth reason why you should solo travel, especially as a woman, and especially those writers out there and creative folks, and that is especially if you are writing a book about the place you are going. I found that to be so helpful. And actually, I didn't even set out to write a book that was set in Scotland. I was writing a book at the same time. It was set in a fantastical version of the medieval UK, the UK in the Middle Ages, right? But not necessarily Edinburgh or Scotland or, anything like that. And in fact, I hadn't even really seen many pictures of Edinburgh or knew much about it. I just had a friend here. So fast forward to today, it just very much helped me put a term and a name and a setting to the things that I had in my mind. I would see a certain restaurant or the way, the stones were on a building or a little turret on a castle. And I was like, yes, that's exactly what I was thinking. And it just gave me so many descriptive ideas. So really immersing yourself. And if that location could be either where your book is taking place or your creative project is, or there's some linkage to the place that you're going, that helps as well. Or if it's just a quiet city or town to get away from the hustle and bustle of life. I think we're on to number 5, the 5th reason why you should solo travel, and that is just to see what else is out there. Do you want to live in the same place your whole life? Maybe, maybe not. Do you want to talk to the same people your whole life? Probably not. It's really good to expand your horizons, of course, and I probably should have started with this one, but arguably this is like the definition of a solo trip, and it goes along with creativity, because when you meet someone new, even if it's just like a shopkeeper or someone on the street that you have a passing conversation with, or a bus driver, you learn things, you pick up on things and their mannerisms, habits. Even just the other day, I was walking home behind a group of Scottish friends. It was like a bunch of guys and gals. And one guy said, the guy was like, "Oh yeah, you like that pizza place?" And yes, and I like the mushrooms as well. And I was just like, oh my God, it's so cute. I like the mushrooms as well. The phrase "as well" in a very interesting way. So I'm from the States, and we say "as well" maybe more in like written form, and sometimes we'll use it. It's just so funny, like I would never say that to my friend in the States, but they say it here. So in summary, why I think you should solo travel. So much growth and development happens when you are traveling. Even just like, I feel like I'm in like this square footage is just like my creative play zone. Like I have literally this yoga mat right here. Every morning I wake up and do my little yoga, Pilates. Then I head over to that desk where I am doing my writing sprints. I'm sitting here on this couch and doing these YouTube videos. Like this little triangle of creativity has been great. And at home I would have, like I do Rover. I watch dogs on Rover, so I would have like dogs running around, or like my husband asking me for something, which, this video is not about getting away from your loved ones, but it's nice just to not have like responsibility for a little bit and just how other people live and their lifestyles. And yeah, I'd encourage you to give it a try. So that's my message of the week. Try a solo traveling trip, even if it's just like for the weekend, maybe a town nearby to where you live. You don't have to go far. You definitely don't have to go international. But wherever you can go, and maybe you have a friend that you could stay at their place, or do like a house swap situation. And that can be, I know there's certain services like Kindred is one, or like there's a bunch of different house swapping with strangers apps and things on like Facebook. But you can also house swap with a friend. Like if you have a friend who lives in Spain and you live in the States, could you house swap for 2 weeks or a month? That would be pretty cool, especially if you work remotely. And maybe you could like work for a week and then take a week off and do your solo traveling. So just some ideas to leave you with for the week. So I'll see you next week for the next video.